Hey guys, it's Mr. Wolfie, and it's kind of a heavy day today. If anybody's been keeping up with the news or with social media at all, then they saw the events of yesterday, which was Saturday, the 12th of August. Just to put it all in perspective, because half the time I don't even know what day it is, so let's just get that out of the way. So, just to give you kind of a rundown of what happened, and then we're going to get into what led to what happened as much as I can. So they were taking down a statue of Robert E. Lee, a Confederate general, in Charlottesville, Virginia. And so the white supremacist groups locally, and I don't think all the people involved were white supremacists, but like I would say almost all of them, 80-90%, were definitely probably KKK type, neo-Nazi type people. And then there was just some other people that got slipped in that just thought it'd be funny and, were there for the memes and they thought it'd be, it was a pseudo, it was a pseudo meme. If that makes sense to you. They weren't there, for the most part, they weren't there to be seriously do like a KKK type march. It was more of a, let's make everyone angry and get some crap started, which is exactly what happened. Because then there was counter protesters, which they must have been made up mostly of Antifa and Black Lives Matter and just other social groups that are usually at these types of things. And it got a little heated. There was some fights, some minor stuff, but the night went pretty normal. Friday night. Saturday morning, it got freaking chaotic because the marches and stuff actually started happening. So the legitimate like white supremacist types and the legitimate like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, anarchist groups, just the people that were at the women's march, and then just odds and ends people filtering in that weren't there for any kind of malicious reasons, just people that were just there, just sort of funneled in. And eventually it turned into fights and sort of rioting. And then somebody thought it would be a good idea to ride a car through a group of people, which injured numerous people. I still haven't gotten, there's numbers that pop up everywhere. They say they just injured 9, but it killed 1 woman. And it's almost definitely that it appears that it was a white supremacist guy that did it. And that makes sense. That they would, take it to the next level, because that's kind of what hate group is built on, is escalating things until the point where there's no going back. So, then there was a helicopter crash that killed 2 police officers as well. And I never did finally get what was going on there, why that happened. That was just sort of something that just happened. And I don't know if it had anything to do with anybody involved in the march or what. But, so, there's a problem with our culture, and it's not what people keep saying it is. Today's flag, by the way, is an Odin battle banner, because we're going to get to that. We're going to explain the reasoning behind that flag and why I don't have an American flag or an Irish flag or whatever like I normally have, because I am part Scandinavian, but only part. So the problem with our culture is that people don't like each other, and they like not liking each other because they think it's fun and entertaining and funny. And that is the gist of it. They are entertained by people beating the crap out of each other in the streets. So we watch it on the news, we watch it on social media, we clap, sometimes we say, oh, that's not right, you shouldn't be doing that. And yet, there they are, doing it again, and we sit right there glued to this, the screen, and put our input in on it, And it's usually stupid input. It's like, man, if I was there, I would have run somebody over because they were in the way. Somebody says stuff like that. I've probably said that too at some point because, it's just an edgy thing to do, is just say that. And then somebody actually does it and you're like, wow, can't believe that actually happened. But then, you could have predicted it if you were just paying attention. So yeah, a lot of people, don't really seem to understand what my point of view on all this is. I think everyone involved in those marches, everyone involved in all the protests, everyone involved in all these different hate groups like the KKK, the neo Nazis, the Antifa, I consider a hate group. Black Lives Matter isn't a hate group, but they're so amorphous that the point of Black Lives Matter is almost never the point of the march that people invoke Black Lives Matter in. So it gets to the point where it's just people using the term Black Lives Matter as a shield to protect them from criticism while they do stupid stuff and dangerous stuff and harm people and things, and just don't, no problem gets fixed in that aspect. Thing is, all the groups hate me, so what the heck, what do I care, you know? The white supremacists don't even think I'm a white person, because I'm not 100%. I got like about 12% non-white DNA across several different spectrums, Middle Eastern, South Asian. You know, they don't consider several of the lower European around the Mediterranean groups white. White supremacy itself is usually a Nordocentrism. It's people that think Scandinavian Germanic groups are the only white people and everyone else is, you know, impure, you know, varying degrees of subhuman. So I would venture to say that if a white supremacist doesn't consider you white, you're not technically a white person, because they should be the standard for how you judge people. If you're mad at all white people because of their skin color, and the white supremacists don't even consider the white person that you're mad at white, what sense does that make? You're basically playing into their narrative. And so, I don't know. People can't agree on things, and that's part of the problem. But what got us here is general hatred of each other. And I never really understood it myself. Like, one of the least logical reasons to not like somebody is because of their skin color. I mean, it's, you know, I could, religion is one thing, nationality is another thing, but just because they have a, you know, a tan or whatever, it's just seems so illogical to me, because that's such a small component of who someone actually is. And it's, I've said it before, and we would probably have the same exact problem if everyone looked the exact same. It's like that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where he went to a world, or he made the world where it was just all people that were gray blobs, and then there was some people that thought they were grayer and blobbier, and that made them special. It's the same exact principle. You hate this person hates you, and it's for a stupid reason. And so the conversation gets muddled. And the reason places like Charlottesville happened is because people want this tribalism to turn into LARPing battles of some sort. LARPing as in, these people actually think that they're dressing up in body armor with shields and weapons like they're friggin' having an actual battle on a battlefield, and for some reason people just sort of let it happen. Now, I would say that would actually be a great thing to do. People should let that happen, but they should organize it into a safe place. They should be like an arena where people can have weapons that aren't deadly weapons, like, you know, foam bats and stuff, and just let people go out there and just wail on each other until they get tired and until the bat breaks, you know? And just let people do that. And then you won't have things that happen like Charlottesville where people start killing each other. And you won't have so many other social problems because people will get it out of their systems. We're naturally kind of a combative species. We're naturally tribalistic. We're naturally nationalistic, all those things, because we are a social animal. I mean, you can't expect two groups of wolves to get together and not fight. But if the wolves are raised together, they consider themselves part of the same group. It's just an aspect of nature. So, the best way to fix this problem, the best way to fix racism, and there's no way to fix racism. It's going to exist no matter what. Like I said, grayer and blobbier. is to just not hate each other. And if that sounds kind of, well, how could you possibly just not hate each other? Then maybe you're the problem. I don't know. Like I said, I get called mongrel by the white supremacists and Nazi by the anti-white supremacists. So I let them fight. Is my, like the Godzilla movie. Let them fight. Just you guys butt heads. I'll stay out of it, and I'll just pick up the pieces when everyone's beating each other into a pulp. But anyway, so that's my input on it, because I have a different point of view than a lot of people, because I see it from all kinds of different angles in one big coalescing bubble of nonsense that shouldn't, be a big deal. I know this has been a bit of a ramble, but if you have any questions or input, I mean, feel free to throw it out at me, because I'm always up for a conversation. I'd rather have conversations than glorious battles in the middle of the street in cities that aren't even my city. Personally. Peace out. Love you guys. Stay safe. This has been Mr. Wolfie.